La magia vive nel tessuto stesso della natura.
Never thought I'd meet one of us out here in the wild.
Wow, tu ti sei persa. Devi essere una fata.
Sono proprio una fata.
One of our
So, Bloom and Sky, such beautiful, complex characters. What did you learn from them and in general from all these experience?
I mean, I learned a lot from Bloom and playing Bloom. Just her journey in general of self-acceptance and self-discovery, I think really made me look back on my teenage years and also kind of in the present and see where I was as well. Yeah, and seeing how she copes with it and being able to kind of relate with the things that she's going through. Of course, not the magical powers, but you know, the insecurities and the romance and the friendships and all that. I think that being able to kind of step in her shoes also kind of healed a part of me as well that was, I didn't know was still kind of dealing with it, I guess. Because in those years, you know, you don't, I mean, Danny said a really good thing. You said you don't know it when it's happening, but you would definitely remember it because those years are such impactful, powerful times. But yeah, I'd say that's what I learned from Bloom.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think Sky, you know, this journey which you each, what's wonderful about the show is it's not always just about necessarily one character. Almost like as the show goes on, you get to know the characters so well, each individually, because normally shows orientate around one person, normally like one main protagonist. But in this, there's sort of like almost six main protagonists. And like it's, and I think that as the show goes on, you know, you get to see sort of what's really nice is like these character arcs as you know as the show goes on, and like you see the development of all the characters like in a lot of depth. And I think for Sky, you know, he starts off in one place, sort of, and you kind of look. I suppose in the first episode, you sort of think of him as quite a normal, natural, just a kid who you know attends Althea, and by the end, you have a completely different opinion of him. And yeah, I think for me, sort of what I sort of learned from playing Sky was. It's okay, I suppose, to sort of not be okay. Yeah, that's for me, because I think, you know, I think as a teenager, this persona you put on, which is I'm fine, because you just want everyone to sort of accept you and sort of, you know, and like you, and you're sort of discovering who you are. And I think what was really fun for me, for Sky, was sort of discovering who he is the answer to my question. I'm so sorry, that was too much depth. Yeah. Yes.
I know, I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I think that's what it is.
That's good. No. So Bloom and Sky were a fan favorite in the animated series. Of course, they were like couple goals for many kids. What do you think them in the series, how their relationship help them and they help each other to grow and to face difficulties and maybe become better people?
They relate to each other because they're both going through, one, a very insecure, unsure time. Both have kind of parental issues that, you know, they're dealing with and that they don't really want to talk about and that they feel is kind of a dirty, deep secret. And I think that they're able to confide in each other. And I think that like having that similarity, you know, they don't even have to speak about it, but it's just known. And I think that also then feeds into their chemistry and it feeds into their safety with one another. So I think that really feeds into their budding relationship and might be the reason why. And of course, they're sensitive, kind hearts too. I think deep down, they're both very, very sensitive, loving people that want the best for everyone around them. And they want justice. And I think that people like that, when they find each other, they kind of are like ride or dies. I think that is kind of how, at least hopefully, what's happening with Bloom and Sky.
Io ci sono. Ho sempre saputo che il tuo destino era diverso da quello degli altri.
And what do you wish for the future for your character and as them, like personally and as a couple?
There's so many ways you can go. It's so exciting, you know. You're just excited to see what would happen for the girls and also for Sky and Bloom. But one of the last scenes that you leave them on is sort of like it's actually one of my favorite scenes. You sort of leave both of them and they both know who they are. I think they have a more clear understanding of who they are than when they started the show. And I think it's now I suppose, Abby, I don't want to speak for your character, but I suppose now that they know that, it's what are they going to do with that and how are they going to grow as a person. So that's really exciting to see what, you know, if hypothetically, you know, if we had a season 2, what would transpire.
Yeah, and I mean, circling back too, now that I'm thinking about it, the things that I learned from Bloom, and I mean, right back at you, I don't want to speak for your experience, but referencing what you just said about towards the end when they're kind of realizing who they are, and it's kind of a beautiful moment. I feel like personally, I was able to kind of feel the same thing towards the end of filming. Like in the beginning, I feel like, I don't know, I mean, we were just also talking about this, like Danny and I really relied on each other because we were both so scared about these roles. Like we were very nervous and I don't know, just questioning ourselves, and we kind of relied on each other for that and to encourage one another. And then towards the end, I feel like, you know, there is something to be said about having people that are able to lean on each other. So I feel like it is kind of paralleled with us and with, you know, Bloom and Sky being able to lean on each other, you know. I think that's what I learned too, is that it is important.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you guys. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you very much, Laura.
And good luck for everything.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks so much.
Vedo l'ora di vedere chi diventerai.
Sono dispiaciuta, non ho visto neanche un paio d'ali.